Today, I want to talk to you guys about fear because fear is kicking you in the butt. And so I want to show you and talk about how we can overcome that, okay? Now, let me tell you, fear is a good thing in some instance, right? Fear naturally is a way for us to protect ourselves. It's healthy to have a sense of fear because that's our primal instinct to react to things in fear so that we can protect ourselves. However, there is another part of fear that is holding us back from being our greatest self, our best self, the greatest of all time, because we're allowing these three things to get in our way from being great. So let's talk about these three things, and then I'm going to give you an activity that I had to do for myself and I share with my clients to help them overcome the fear that they're having. First fear that we tend to associate with, and that a lot of us have. I think we have this sense I think like day one, but we have the fear of rejection. And I get it. I've been rejected a lot. People have told me, no, you can't have this job. No, I don't want to date you. No, this. I've had that. But we have this fear of rejection to the point that we do not even react, right? We don't even act on the things that we want because we're so afraid of what someone is going to say to us. We're afraid of the no. Well, let me just tell you, when someone tells you no, you already know, and you don't have to waste your time with that person when they tell you no. You're just like, okay, bye, and move on to the next thing. So getting early rejections are good. You don't have to waste your time, right? The second type of fear is the fear of failure. Oh my gosh. The fear of failure stops most of the most successful people in the world is that we are so afraid that we're going to fail and that other people are going to notice that we fail and they're going to pick on us and they're going to say, I told you so, natty boo boo. Well, here's what I say to that. If you do have the fear of failure, then one, keep whatever your dreams and aspirations to yourself until you find someone who can encourage you to attempt whatever it is you want to do. Now, I'm going to tell you this. If you are part of my circle, okay, I'm going to push you. I'm going to say, go ahead, girl, just do it. If you fail, so the fuck. Excuse me. I said the F word. I didn't mean to say that. I would say, girl, just go ahead and do that, right? So if you mess up, you mess up. Who cares, right? I'm the only one who's going to know it. And I'm going to cheer you on for even attempting it. Because there's a lot of things in my life that I did not do because I was afraid of failure, what other people would say. But I also think about what my dad said. My dad would say, well, who cares? Because most of the people who are picking on you and telling you not to do it, they too scared to do it themselves and they don't want to see you be great. The third fear, I got this one memorized because I see this a lot and we tend to put it on procrastination. This one is the fear of work. I'm gonna let that sit in your soul right there. The fear of work. Some of us fear the work that it takes to do something, right? Because we start to see the steps and the processes and we're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of work. And we don't do it. It stops us in our track because we're so afraid of the work that has to do. Now, let me tell you, I'm one of those people too. I have a fear of certain work, and the fear of work that I have the most is yard work. I don't do yard work, right? I paid someone before I got married. Hope my husband ain't watching this. Before I got married to do yard work because I don't do that, right? Instead of me just having an overgrown yard, I went out and I outsourced it, right? So that I wouldn't have the fear of work. But some of us have all of these projects that we want to do, but we see the work that goes into it and we stop in our track. And so we start to blame it on procrastination. We start to blame it on, oh, I don't know how to do it, or I don't know what the exact steps are. You know the steps. You just know that those steps take a lot of work. So you just stop. You just stop right in your tracks because you're afraid of the work, okay? My suggestion to that is to find a system that works for you. A system that works for you, and to also know that you don't have to do all the steps that all the gurus say out there. One of the things that I share with my coaches is that I give them multiple ways to do something. My way is not always the best way. Sometimes I tell my husband that, do what I say. But my way is not always the best way, right? There are other ways to do things. And so with my coaches, I share with them 2 to 3 different ways that they can do something so that they can choose. And everyone might not have the same technical skills. Some of them might be still afraid to do videos, whatever that is. But I give my coaches 3 different options, 2 to 3 options typically to do, right? I tell them which one if you're a starter. Start with this way. If you're a person who is emerging, right? You're just right. You got a couple of clients, but you need another way to do it. Do it this way. And maybe some of them are really doing really well. They're influencing. They got a lot of clients. They got a lot of passive income. I give them the option on how they can do it as well. Y'all see what I'm saying? So one way is not always the best way and the only way. And so that will help you overcome that fear of work. There's a small little exercise that I do with myself, right? And I mention to my clients that help them to get over some of the fear. And here's this little simple exercise. You get out a piece of paper, whatever that paper is. You know, if you have a notebook or a journal, I tend to have a journal, right? And I divide the page in half, right? So like a T-chart. Y'all remember that Benjamin Franklin, I think, came up with the T-chart. He really came up with this formula. It's called the yes and no formula, but I like to call it the worst scenario and the best scenario, okay? So you divide the page up, create your T-square. You put best scenario on one side, on the left-hand side, and you put worst scenario on the right-hand side. And you write down what is the best thing that could happen if I take action, if I do this work, if I go out for whatever it might be. What are the best things that could happen to me? I can have income. I can eventually leave my full-time job. I can buy a new house. I can get my credit up. Whatever the best scenarios are, right? And then on the other side, right, what would be the worst scenarios, right? The worst scenario could be that, oh, I have to go back to my full-time job. Oh, well, no one buys it, okay, and I have to start over. Oh, someone will see that I didn't sell anything, and they'll call me, or they'll send me a text message and say, nanny boo-boo, well, all that kind of stuff. Write all of those things down. And once you have identified what the worst scenarios are, the next thing would be, on another sheet of paper, would be, how would you solve those worst case scenarios? So if someone sends you a text message saying, nanny boo-boo, you did not do what you did, or you failed, I told you were going, or, you know, the tally tales, like I told you so. How would you handle that? I tell you what I do. I delete the message. I'm like, whatever, delete it. I wouldn't even respond. So come up with scenarios to what would happen in the worst case scenario. I guarantee you, if you do that exercise, any fear, anxiety, anything that you're having about whatever it is that you want to do is going to be gone. Zip, gone, poof, done, right? And you're going to be ready to take action.